Hi, this is Andrew again. I serve as a spokesperson for Nehemiah Reset. Today I want to discuss the Bible book of Acts. Acts picks up where Luke's gospel leaves off, recording the early progress of the gospel as Jesus' disciples took it from Jerusalem throughout Judea, Samaria, and the rest of the Mediterranean world. The story begins with Christ's ascension and the events of Pentecost. As Gentiles begin responding to the gospel, the focus shifts to Paul and his missionary journeys. Acts forms a bridge between the four Gospels and the rest of the New Testament, showing how the apostles carried on Christ's work and providing a historical background for Romans through Revelation. The Acts of the Apostles is the second of two New Testament books written by Luke. Like his Gospel, Acts was a letter to Luke's friend Theophilus, written sometime in AD 62 to 64. The book of Acts, also called Acts of the Apostles, begins where the Gospel of Luke left off. Before ascending into heaven, Jesus commissions his disciples to be his witnesses from Jerusalem to the end of the earth, Acts 1 verse 8. In fulfillment of this command, and through the power of the Holy Spirit, the early church expands. Acts shows what it means to be part of Jesus' mission to the world. The apostles set the example of what it means to be fully devoted to Christ and enveloped by the Holy Spirit. According to early church tradition, the author of Acts is Luke the physician, who traveled with the apostle Paul, Colossians 4 verse 14, 2 Timothy 4 verse 11, Philippians 24. The Gospel of Luke is also ascribed to him. This makes Acts his second volume about the story of early Christianity, Acts 1 verse 1. See the introduction to Luke. For passages in Acts seem to indicate that the narrator is a first-hand witness of particular events he describes. Acts 16 verses 10 to 17, 20 verses 5 to 15, 21 verses 1 to 18, 27:1, 28:16, which is fitting with Luke being the author. Like the Gospel of Luke, the book of Acts is addressed to Theophilus, who might have provided financial support for Luke to write both books. Luke 1 verse 3, Acts 1 verse 1. Luke's broader audience appears to have been people who were already Christians or at least were interested in Christianity. Luke 1 verse 4. Since the narrative of Acts ends with Paul's captivity in Rome, it might have been written shortly after his arrival there, in the early to mid-60s AD. Another possibility is that Paul preaching the gospel in Rome provided a natural stopping point for the book, because it showed that the church was fulfilling Jesus' command to be his witnesses to the ends of the earth. Jerusalem and Rome were on opposite sides of the empire, Acts 1 verse 8. In this case, Acts could have been written later in the 1st century AD. The structure of Acts follows the outward expansion of the gospel, which spreads from Jerusalem to Judea, Samaria, to the ends of the earth, across the world, 1:8. This geographical framework takes shape in the first section, 1:1, 8:3, which is set in Jerusalem. In Acts 2, Peter preaches to a crowd of Jews from all over the world, 2:9, 11. In Acts 6, Greek-speaking Jews become leaders in the church. The first major expansion comes in Acts 8:4, 12:25, with the apostles taking the gospel to other parts of Judea and to Samaria. In Acts 13, another expansion occurs as Paul launches his first missionary journey. The rest of the book follows his church-planting activity through Asia Minor and Greece until he finally makes his way to Rome, the capital of the empire, and a place representative of the entire known world of the time. Within this geographical framework, Acts also expands from the Jewish mission of the church to the Gentile mission. Peter, as head of the Jewish mission, figures prominently in the early chapters, but fades from view after Acts 12. Paul, the leader of the Gentile, non-Jewish mission, becomes the focus in the remainder of the book. We can divide Acts into 5 different stories. These stories are 1. The church in Jerusalem, 1:1, 8:3. 2. The church in Judea and Samaria, 8:4, 12:25. 3. Paul's missions to the Gentiles, 13:1, 21:16. 4. Paul in Jerusalem, 21:17, 26:32. 5. Paul's journey to Rome, 27:1, 28:31. Acts repeatedly demonstrates that the gospel involves unexpected reversals. The scene at Pentecost, Acts 2, with its depiction of people from various languages understanding the good news of Jesus in their own tongues, reverses the confusion of human language at Babel, Genesis 11 verse 7. And it is Saul the Pharisee, the leading persecutor of the church, who becomes known as the apostle to the Gentiles. And it is the Gentiles who themselves are a surprise inclusion in God's people. Acts 10 verse 45, 11:18. Salvation through Jesus is not just for Jews, it's for everyone. Acts broadly depicts the rapid outward movement of the gospel to people from an incredible array of races, languages, social ranks, and religious backgrounds. In tandem with the depiction of Jesus in Luke's gospel, Acts demonstrates that Jesus is the culmination of world history. He is what the world needs. Acts shows how Jesus continues his work in the world through his followers by the power of the Holy Spirit in them. Instead of providing a fully detailed account of the early church's expansion and leadership structure, Acts focuses on specific moments, showing in broad strokes the gospel's rapid expansion. Acts is meant to inspire us to be part of God's work in the world. I hope this gives you a quick summary of the book of Acts and the key ideas contained therein. To learn more about other books of the Bible, visit our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. If you want to support us, like this video and subscribe to our weekly newsletter detailing our recent videos by subscribing at nehemiahreset.org/email. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Hi, this is Daniel again. The previous video was sponsored by Nehemiah Reset, a 501c3 Bible-believing organization. Our mission is to assist Christians in developing a stronger biblical worldview as it pertains to relevant cultural and biblical issues. We seek to inform Christ followers, equip them, and mobilize them into action to vote their biblical values and to actively engage in our culture locally and at the national level. We are committed to help Christians and non-believers to develop a better biblical worldview. Nehemiah Reset produces videos and ebooks to assist believers and explorers in developing a biblical worldview when it comes to cultural and biblical issues. We produce videos on key topics like public school indoctrination, the woke agenda, sex education, equity and inclusion, climate change, immigration, religious freedom, and lessons that can be learned from key subjects in the Bible. To learn more about Nehemiah Reset or to watch our latest videos, go to our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. We produce new videos every week. To get a free weekly list of our latest videos, sign up for our weekly newsletter by signing up at nehemiahreset.org/email. You can support our website by liking our videos, subscribing to our channel, or providing donations to help us advertise for new subscribers. Thanks for your help in growing God's kingdom and bringing more people to Christ. Thank you for your support and help. Have a great day.